Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 4, Drop It Like It's Hot. So in the beginning, we're back on the bus with the ladies after Stacey comments towards Kierna. And the ladies think she took it too far with her comments. But I feel like since Kierna's been on one, I feel like, if you can dish them out, then you should be able to take them. And I'm not too sure why Ashley feels like she needs to have a say-so. We already know you're not going to do nothing, Ashley. Just sit down. The ladies finally arrive to the horse track. The ladies go take a photo, and then they go grab themselves something to drink. Kierna then starts to pass out $20 bills, asking the girls to shake it. You know, it's a cute little fun thing, but I don't know how much two shaking for $20 is gonna get. But the ladies get $20. They go to the betting board, and as Angel gets up, Wendy and Giselle start speaking about Angel. They begin to speak about their time at Temple University, how Wendy didn't truly know her, and then also that Angel didn't really graduate. And if she did not graduate, what's it to you? Obviously she's doing well for herself still. So what is your point? Why do you need to find your sources to see if someone else has graduated? Giselle, talk about your life. What's going on in your life? The ladies then go get something to eat, and we see Ashley talking to some man. We don't know what it's about. However, we might just figure it out and down the road. But however, Stacey keeps the $20 in her pocket. I would too. But I'm gonna bet $20 on what? I don't want to bet on the horses. I'm gonna keep the money in my pocket. Thank you. And as Ashley joins them for the lunch, Stacey starts to question Ashley if she's still messing with Josh and what's really going on in that relationship. To which Ashley just says, you know what? I have no boyfriend, no husband. We're just friends. We're hanging out. No, that's it. Stacey also asks Giselle, and we all know that Stacey brought up Giselle possibly messing with another guy. So we're going to see what goes on with that story as well, even though Giselle is in everybody else's business. So then Ashley comes up because now she's addressing Tia because Tia had called her rude for not inviting the entire group to Ashley's home or out to shopping, I think it was. Tia just lets her know, girl, that was just Tia. Girl, I was just making some fun. Ain't nobody really tripping about coming out with you. But, Ashley has been coming in kind of hot this season, and it's not, once again, you're making a mountain out of a molehill or a mountain out of an anthill, Ashley. It's not that bad. It's not that much. It wasn't too much into that conversation. Ashley and Tia then begin a disagreement because of the verbiage that they're using. And Tia just lets her know, look, if I had something to say to you, I'm going to say it. If you are rude, I'm going to say it to your face. And I'm liking this from Tia because she's putting her foot down now. Ashley, don't come over here with none of that drama. If you got something to say, then say it. But other than that, you don't need to do too much. Ashley been calling herself trying to check everybody. Girl, sit down. But the ladies continue on with their lunch, and Jazzy starts to show up. And as Jazzy comes in, she hugs everybody, she greets everybody, and she sits down and she starts to talk about her marriage and how they're in counseling, so the planning for the wedding is going on. Now after the ladies get reacquainted, they all go outside to start watching the races. Now during the races, or on a pause I guess, Kierna reveals that someone brought back to her that Stacey and Jazzy had a problem with Kierna, which Kierna also reveals that Wendy told her that Jazzy and Stacey had a problem with her. But while in the midst of this conversation coming up, the First Lady of Maryland shows up, who did not want to be on camera, by the way. So, of course, Whitney cut that. Hold up. Let's be classy right quick. Let's hold this conversation. We're going to talk to the First Lady of Maryland, and then we're going to come back. So after the greeting with the First Lady, the ladies all sit back down to continue the same discussion. So according to Wendy, she was talking to Jazzy about who was going to host the NAACP event, and Wendy said that she got a different vibe from Jazzy because she had mentioned that Kierna was going to be there and that she felt the vibe that Jazzy had a problem with Kierna. Now, both of the ladies, Jazzy and Kierna, both are like, no, that just seems too much, and that Jazzy had mentioned Wendy was just being messy. But who knows, because we weren't on the phone, so we don't know the context of the conversation. So at this point, we're just watching. So wait a minute. Then Jazzy hops in and says, I know you having issues with Greg. Don't take that out on me. And oop, Jazzy, that was messy right there. To which the conversation of Jazzy's soon-to-be husband has already had 2 kids on her. And why would you get married to a man who had kids on you? So at this point, Giselle and Wendy, they're trying to end that argument before they get embarrassed in front of the First Lady. And I don't blame them. Don't nobody want to look classless. So after the argument, our next scene hops into the ladies starting to pack. Ashley's picking out her outfit. We also get to see Angel pack her stuff. And then 2 days later, the ladies depart for their first girls trip. We see some of the ladies meet up at the airport for the trip. And we also get to see Jazzy join the trip. Wait a minute now. And Giselle reveals that, yeah, I invited her last minute, and she's fun, she's gonna be good for the trip, and that Jazzy has been through a lot, so Giselle wanted her to come on the trip. So the ladies take off for their flight, flight and they land in St. Kitts. However, they are taking a boat into Nevis. Child, and they still sitting at the airport because Jazzy ain't got off this plane yet. Now, what is going on? Jazzy already holding up the time for some island fun. So the ladies then get to yacht service to wait on their yacht to be chartered over to the small island. And as they're waiting, they're talking about what activities that Giselle has set up. Then Ashley brings up a topic of what goals they have set on this trip with the girls. And of course, Angel starts first. She wants to get to know the ladies and for the ladies to get to know her better. So upon having a discussion of Angel being gone for the first time without her kids, the ladies come in and say, I'll have your back if you need them. And come to find out, Giselle had told the ladies, hey, bring some slutty costumes. And they didn't know why, but Giselle does reveal that it's for a bachelorette party for Jazzy. Then a problem arises. Angel is not to have camouflage of any fabric into the country or to the island. It is illegal. Now I get Angel in this moment because sometimes I like to skim through too, but if it's my first time flying somewhere that I've never been, I'm going to at least proofread 3-4 times to make sure that I'm not breaking any laws. So hopefully Angel will be able to get that in, y'all. But of course, as we see, she's going to go because Tia is offering to put some of her stuff that was in the camouflage bag into her bag because no, honey, we're not letting you put your stuff in the trash bag. That's weird. But my question is, Kierna, ain't this your bitch? Ain't this your friend? Why didn't you offer your bag? But I guess, okay. But hopefully Angel can buy a bag while she's at the island so she doesn't have to keep her stuff with Tia's. And shout out to Tia for keeping her bag half empty. I mean, I do believe in coming with an empty bag because you are going to do some type of shopping. So you need an empty bag to carry your new stuff in. So the ladies are still waiting for the yacht. They're gagging, they're having fun, they're poking, they're teasing. Hey, have you stuff this? What do you do in the bedroom? And it's a cute moment for the girls to get to know each other a little bit more. And finally, the yacht gets this so they can all head to the island. The ladies are now on the boat. They're about to start popping bottles, and then a subject or a comment comes up that someone was not wanted on the boat trip. Then Giselle reveals that she went to a lunch with Jazzy. And then Giselle reveals that Kay didn't want Jazzy to come on a trip and to bring Sharice and said, no, bring Jazzy. I do not want Sharice in this season at all. I don't want Sharice at all. And I'm glad Giselle actually made that decision to just go ahead and bring Jazzy. Now, I didn't know that Angel knew Sharice, but they wanted to make it seem like Angel didn't want Jazzy to come as well. And if that is so, it could be because Kierna's her friend. So she's going to still follow behind Kierna. Then Kierna says that, you know what? The difference between me and Jazzy is that I'm not fake. And as Kierna is explaining her side of the story, Jazzy then reveals, you know what? Well, you know what? Explain to what you said about Wendy then. So, a lot of these hidden secrets are starting to come out, and I hope they get it all out on this yacht before any of this drama reaches the island. I feel like they have a moment to fully express how they feel about each other on this yacht before they ruin the rest of the trip. But on the yacht, it's being revealed that Kierna has been talking about how Wendy's back, and Wendy is now putting 2 and 2 together. You're deflecting, you're projecting, you're the one being a bad friend, not me. So as the discussion continues, Wendy just says, you know what, look, if I find out that you are talking behind my back, I'm going to be disappointed because Wendy's right. Why would you tell everybody else in the group you have this problem with me, but you have yet to address me with it? Now, in this point, it seems like to me, Kierna is talking in circles. She hasn't fully explained what she said, if she said it or not, because she did not exactly say, I didn't say nothing behind her back, so I don't know what she's talking about. You haven't fully, explained what is actually going on and what Jazzy is leading to. And to be honest, I think Kieran is just a little threatened that Jazzy is back. Now, I don't know if Jazzy is here for a friend of, because the friend of is supposed to be Monique. But yeah, Jazzy's on a trip, and Kieran, get over yourself. So we see the ladies are still having this issue, this discussion. And of course, Giselle is trying to get control of the situation. And the issue or a comment comes up from Wendy because as Angel was saying that she was good with Jazzy, Wendy then hops in and says, well, why did you kind of throw a dig at Jazzy's fiance, future husband, about him being a bench warmer or whatever position that he plays? To which Angel explained, hey, I was asked the question, I was just answering it, and I was giving that answer. And then production then asks her, is Jazzy considered a wag even though her boyfriend, fiance, whatever, is a bench warmer? To which she kind of answers around the question. In other words, I guess in her way, no, she's not, but each player is valuable to the team. Now, Stacey does ask a good question. Can you have relationships with other people if they do not enjoy Kay? I think that's a good question, and I think Angel can, but I think Angel wants to continue to show Kay her loyalty. But Angel does answer the question, yes, she can get to know everyone else. You will get to know her because, the ladies was having a good time laughing at it. So after the conversation calms down, the ladies then branch off on the yacht. They're going upstairs. They're going to, walk around the boat. And Kay is kind of going to stay back because she needs to cool down. And Kay, is only because you've been called to the carpet like you've been trying to do every other woman at the table. So finally, the ladies are pulling up to Neva's, and the island does look rather beautiful. So while the ladies are turking at the front of the boat, Kieran and Angel are sitting back. And what I don't want for Angel is to not have fun because your friend is going to have an attitude anytime that she's called to the table or anytime that she's called to explain herself for some of the actions that she's done. So the yacht pulls up to dock. They're greeted by dancers and some of the hotel staff, and the resort looks absolutely gorgeous. So as the lady get in the golf carts to go to their villa, they start discussing a picture of Tia and Angel. And of course, Angel looks different. Angel had children, so she's still coming down from the mommy weight. But thick or skinny, Angel still looks good. Ladies arrive to the beautiful villa with pink carpet service, pink robes, pink bags with their initials on them. Yes, arriving to a charcuterie board. It absolutely delicious. Now, as they're passing out rooms, of course, Jazzy, Stacy, and Wendy get a villa to themselves, which they're all overexcited about. I think that's funny because they get to be together and have a good time. Of course, Giselle and Ashley are together, and the au pair's room or the nanny's quarters is going to Tia. Of course, our last two friends, Kierna and Angel, have a villa to themselves. I mean, the property is gorgeous, and I would be the au pair suite too because she has her own room in her own bathroom. She's not sharing with anybody. Now, as the ladies disperse to their villas and to their rooms, they all each get a personal note from Giselle besides Stacy. And I think Stacy got a robe, but her name's not on it, and that's a bit shady. So then Giselle explains why she didn't write the note, why she didn't get a little monogram roll, little monogram, little purse. So of course she says they're still at odds. She's still getting to know Stacy. Giselle, you barely know Jazzy. You barely know most of the women. You could have put the name on there. I mean, hell, shoot. Even Angel got her own, and you wrote her a nice note. So as the ladies are settling in, they're all talking about the upcoming cliques that are happening to the group. And then Angel brings up Wendy not speaking to her at the airport. I mean, that is very on brand for Wendy. We all have been saying that, Wendy can be a little shady, can be a little distant, can be a little dismissive. But I guess I'm different because if Wendy can be dismissive, so can I. Let's not pretend like we're friends then. And now to know it wasn't just Wendy, it was all of the women. I can see why Angel feels some type of way too. Now that is an issue. I'm on the cast. You can say hi. It's not going to break your neck. I mean, I can pretty much understand Kieran's issue as well because if somebody's not constantly coming for you, how can you have a good time? If someone's constantly coming for you or constantly questioning you about something, how can I have a good time? Don't expect me to have a good time and somebody's always trying to constantly question me about some stuff, some shady stuff that may or may have not happened. But after the ladies shower and freshen up, they all get ready and head to dinner. We also get to see that Tia is missing her child's 14th birthday party. Now, I get it. Tia's at work, but at the same time, that's my baby's birthday. I don't know if I could ever miss that. However, they both seem fine with it, and the night continues. So after we see Tia interact with her son, who wants to be adopted, but I love how Tia handled it, we see the ladies arrive to the restaurant on the dune for dinner. So the conversation at the dinner starts off with the ladies ordering, of course, and Stacy asks Kierna if her and Greg are back together because they don't actually conversate, and I think that's a good start. And Kierna does confirm. The conversation continues to go on, and we find out that Stacy had asked Kierna about Angel, if she's being acclimated into the group well, and of course Angel answers, but Angel also keeps saying, hey, if you really want to know me, just ask me, which I don't think is a hard demand. I don't want to seem like I'm always on Angel's side, but at the same time, just ask Angel. I'm pretty sure she's just going to give you guys an answer. Then during the discussion, the conversation of what happened at Kierna's house between Wendy and Angel comes up, and Wendy feels like Angel uses targeted words to kind of make it seem like Wendy's the aggressor in the situation or in the conversation, which in Wendy's perspective, she's just asking a simple question. But Wendy does say that even from Stacy's perspective, it doesn't seem that Angel is excited to be around the group. I'm not understanding what you want Angel to do because we're all grown. Does she need to jump up and down? Some of y'all halfway act like you don't even want to talk to Angel. So what do you expect her to do in this moment is my question. Giselle then brings up the picture between Tia and Angel and lets Angel know, girl, that was you. I couldn't tell. To which Angel explains that picture was like a while ago. And then Tia does chime in. She just had a couple of kids. Like give her a minute to get back to herself. Now, as far as the rest of the pictures, yeah, it's giving a little filtered. I'm starting to see some of the highlights of the filter, Angel. But in this sense, why does it matter? So people use filters all the time and some people don't. But if Angel wants to lie about it, let her lie about it. During this discussion, Kiana calls out Wendy, asking her to say what you need to say because you're whispering this to Stacy. And Wendy says, your attitude towards me is different than it is Giselle because Giselle is trying to tell you that your portrait is not your portrait, but you got mad and came at me because I asked you a question at Kieran's house. To which Wendy is revealing that, you know what, you guys are exposed and that it has reached its peak on how Kieran and Angel are both working together. Also, it's exposing how Kieran and Angel are talking about everyone in the group behind each other's back. But I agree with Tia, as long as you guys stay open and move forward, because you're all talking behind each other's back at some point in time. Even Giselle was having sidebar conversations. So just stay open and stay honest with each other. Then Wendy brings up how Stacy didn't get a customized robe or a bag to Giselle at the table, to which Stacy does chime in and says, I also thought it was odd that my card was empty. It didn't have a loving message like everyone else's card did. But at least Giselle was honest. I don't know who you are. I'm not sure who you are, so therefore you weren't even supposed to get a card, and I didn't feel like I could give you your name on your robe, which childish. Girl, just put the name on the damn robe. You doing all that all because you're not all up in her business with her husband, but nobody is in your business, Giselle. Let that go. Finally, somebody said it. Stacy said it. Giselle, you've been all in my relationship, so let's talk about yours. Brings to the group that Giselle has a whole new man. As Stacy shows the proof on her phone, Giselle does seem speechless at first. Now, Giselle says that was just a date, but Stacy is saying the streets are saying it's just a little bit more. And Giselle, yes, talk about your relationship. Stay out of everybody else's. What business do you have going on besides that empty nest home of yours? Now, the ladies began questioning Ashley because we all know Ashley's your right-hand man. So we know Ashley met him. And Ashley, of course, kind of skirts around the issue, but she ends up coming. She ends up saying, hey, you know what? Look, they met at a birthday party. He came correct. In other words, yes, Ashley has met him, and they've been keeping that a little secret while they all up and through Stacy's divorce or not divorce or whatever it wants to be. Giselle confirms that they are still dating, that he is still around, but they are not boyfriend and girlfriend. They are not together. Here go Ashley talking about Stacy needing, be in her own business, but it wouldn't have came up had you two minded your business about her business, right? So Stacy is just responding to the BS that y'all started with her. So as the episode comes to an end, they all have brought up, who here at the table has talked to an NFL guy or two. And of course, they're going to turn it over to Stacy because Stacy, girl, you got some secrets to reveal. And Wendy said, they finna drop a dime on your ass, Stacy. Get ready. And that's when Ashley reveals that, you've been talking to someone that we've all hung around, that we've all known. Revealed that it was Chris Samuels, y'all. And the episode ends. Now, I guess this was a little filler episode, but it definitely gets juicier for the next episode. So until then, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Bye.